Guys, UFC 276 is stacked. Step into the octagon with our show sponsor DraftKings, the official sports betting partner of UFC. Knockout, submission, or even judge's decision, no matter who wins the fight or how the fight ends, new customers can bet $5 on UFC 276 and get $100 in free bets no matter what. Looking for a big payday? Check out DraftKings Sportsbook newest UFC feature, Same Game Parlays. Combine multiple bets like which fighter will win, number of knockouts, and more with your shot at an even bigger payout. If Sportsbook is not available in your state, check out DraftKings Daily Fantasy, where they will have huge contests for this weekend's fight. New DraftKings customers, download the DraftKings app right now. Use the promo code Sonnen. Put down $5 on UFC 276 and you will get $100 in free bets no matter what. That's promo code Sonnen when you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, the official sports betting partner of UFC. My official prediction, Adesanya versus Cannonier. Guys, of course I'm taking Adesanya. Sure I am. So are you. But as the fight gets closer, there is something about it that gets a little bit more intriguing. There is something that is interesting about the very quiet and stoic approach of Jared Cannonier. There's something that you have to respect and admire about how obviously Jared is putting all of his eggs in one basket. When I'm talking about that, guys, I'm talking about his life of work. I'm talking about an overweight fighting at 265 pounds and under, by the way, heavyweight. Jared Cannonier, who's living in Alaska in the freezing cold driving truck. I mean, it's a real rocky story. It's a great place to live. That's good, honest work. I don't speak about the profession. I speak about the time that it takes to do that profession. We know that the hours in truck drive, we know you could do 12 and 14 hours a day. When are you going to train? Where you pull the truck over and you get a couple of miles in, you drive up the highway sweaty? Yes, the answer is yes. If that's what it takes, that's what you do. Jared Cannonier somehow, while driving truck, was able to get to a set location 5 days a week known as his gym. It was a sacrifice. It was hard work. It was dedication. There's money that comes along with it. Sure there is. There's fame that comes along with it. Sure there is. When you become a guy that's chasing the money and the fame, it is now over for you. When you ever stop being that little boy with a dream that wanted to be the champion of the world, things are coming to an end. But that's not what Jared's doing. Not at all. And he's making this blatantly clear. He may have nowhere to go after this. He's not setting up any other fight for himself. Adesanya set up 2 this week. This week, Adesanya set up 2 fights for himself aside from Jared Cannonier. Right now. Sell out an arena. Watch him take on Michael Strickland. Watch him take on Alex Pereira. Already done the work. Already did the interviews. Already sold the fight. Very different approach by Jared. And you can't do anything except put yourself in that spot. Would I do my best work when the house is on fire? When there is nowhere else to go and I have burned my ships, am I going to go out there and I am going to perform my best, or am I going to wilt to the pressure of the situation that I created? Hard to know. You aren't always who you think you're going to be. I will tell you, I have personally found that out the hard way. I've been very proud of myself at times, and I've been very disappointed, very surprised at how I reacted to certain situations when I created a certain environment. It's just the reality of it. And there's no time to go back, right? There's always time to refocus if you're Izzy. He's at the Apex last night cheering on a teammate, sitting there with Volkanovski. His teammate went. He's cheering him on. Now he's going to go cut a little bit of weight. He's going to get a couple of interviews in between now and then. Then he's going to start to focus on the task at hand, which is Jared. That's Izzy's approach. But he can always get real serious, even if it's for an hour. He can get real serious and get locked into that mode, the exact same mode that Jared's living. He can do that in 5 minutes. Sure he could. It's very hard to go the other way. Very easy to tighten the reins. Boy, it's very hard to loosen them. If you haven't already put those things in place, you haven't already feathered your nest, you all don't already have a good solid fight that you're going to go into when this one's done. So all you can do, if you're me, is guess what would I do in that situation. And Jared Cannonier has lit the house on fire. It is all going down in these 5 rounds. If he is going to beat Adesanya, how is he going to do it? Well, we can lay out a case, guys. The one thing that will beat absolutely everybody is a lack of conditioning. The absolute number one way to win an ass-whipping contest is not to be better with the kicks and better with the hands and better with the grappling. It's not. It's to get your opponent tired. That is the number one way. Hard to do because both guys always come in shape, but we've seen examples. Sure we have. We just saw it in boxing. Who's this British guy? Joshua. Anthony Joshua had a fight. Can't think of the guy's name. But the guy was not what you call body beautiful. He did not look like his level of fitness was there. Anthony Joshua did not prepare correctly for him. Joshua got knocked down like 4 times in 3 rounds. It was just something brutal. The guy stops him. Remember this guy that I'm talking about? Then they rematch. The guy comes in like 50 pounds heavier. He can't move. I mean, the same thing that he did that got him success against Joshua, which is he came in better shape than Joshua. Joshua didn't take it seriously. The guy reverses and does the second time, but they switch outcomes. Joshua didn't become a better boxer from the night that he was stopped by this guy till he goes on to dominate the guy. He didn't become better. It was just a conditioning issue. I'll tell you right now, Jared's not winning the first round. And please don't bring to me the puncher's chance. Please don't talk like that. If you're that level of lazy, go find another channel. There's other guys out there. You can find somebody. Don't come over here with a genius like me. Please don't do that. Because if I challenge you and tell you, all right, great, tell me a time that a guy with a puncher's chance did anything, you could do it in championship fights. You just have to go back to George Foreman versus Michael Moore, of which I was in the 8th grade. That isn't a real thing. I'm well aware that if a brick falls on your head, you're effed. I got it. Please don't bring that up to me. Just don't. So let's take that silliness out and let's really take a look at this. How can Jared do it? He's not going to win the first round because he's not as good of a fighter. He doesn't have the wrestling paralysis that the guys who took Izzy down had. He does not have the wrestling of Marvin Vettori. He does not have the wrestling of Brunson, who, by the way, didn't get Izzy down. He does not have the wrestling of Yoel Romero, which, by the way, nobody has except for Daniel Cormier, who didn't get Izzy down. Okay, we got that. He's not going to take him down. I've proved my point. It doesn't mean he can't outstrike him, even though he's far inferior of a striker. The takedown is the number 2 component that a wrestler has. This is always missed. The takedown is the second level of armor that the wrestler has. The first is the threat of the takedown. The threat of the takedown is what changes the fight. The threat of the wrestler is what gives the advantage to the wrestler. Every time. That is what will make the striker lower his hands. That is what will make the striker plant his feet. That is what will make the striker think twice. If Jared can come out with a little bit of a different strategy than we've seen him do before and threaten a takedown, it will open up his hands. And he will get some shots off. And Izzy, as good as he is, gets hit all the time. Guys always do. Some of you could be practice fighter. Go get in a street fight right now. You're going to get hit by the guy that's never practiced it before. Sure you will. But you might roll with it. You might come. It's one of these things. You have to understand that, though. You're going to get hit and you're going to get kicked, and it doesn't matter who's better and who's superior. Both are going to happen. Can he take it? How will he react when it happens? I think Jules might have just proved this the best. The Venezuela Vixen was not as good of a kickboxer as Amanda, but she could take it more than Amanda could, at least that night. That's what changed that fight. And I bring that to you because Jared is not going to win the first round. I'm not asking you. I'm not sharing an opinion right now. My opinion is that Adesanya is going to win. I'm telling you a fact. He's not going to win the first round. Jared is not going to win the second round. But if he wears Adesanya down, or he can get Adesanya to mismanage his energy, which is exactly what Amanda Nunes did, just to go back to that example, he could win 3, 4, and 5. Absolutely. You do not have to be the better fighter to win the later rounds. The better fighter wins the first 2 rounds. Whoever fights better wins the next 3. So there is a case, for sure, From a physical standpoint, Jared's going to have to offer the threat of the takedown. He doesn't actually have to get him down. He's going to offer the threat so that he can come back up. Go watch Uriah Faber fight sometime. Uriah Faber will hit the hell out of you. But he will change elevation before every punch. He will change elevation and come up with an uppercut. He will change elevation like he's going to attack. He'll come over with an overhand right. He will change elevation and surprise you with a hook. He will offer the threat nonstop, and all of Uriah's punches land. They land because of the setup, and I only bring that to you because there is a way. You bet your ass there's a way that Jared Cannonier can take so much punishment and basically get a rope-a-dope done inside of the first 10 minutes to come back and win the next 3 rounds. We see this happen all the time if the guy in Izzy's spot, not from a lack of preparation, from a lack of respect in the moment. If I go back to Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena, it was a lack of respect in that moment by Amanda. She did not understand what her opponent could take. It surprised her. It caught her off guard. The fight ended up being harder than she thought it was going to be. Now, Adesanya doesn't fight that same way. He doesn't look to seek and destroy. And one thing that's very hard for you guys to see is the speed of Adesanya. He probably looks quick, and it probably ends right there. He's scary fast. He is scary fast. You want to know who said that? A world champion by the name of Robert Whittaker said I couldn't see it coming. I could not see it coming. I was just getting hit. I was just getting picked apart. We had a guy named Rickle over in Bellator. He had to quit a fight. Worst thing a fighter ever wants to do amongst fellow fighters. He doesn't want to quit a fight, but he doesn't want fellow fighters to see him quit. He had to quit a fight. He was fighting Michael Venom Page, and there wasn't one of us in the back that gave him a hard time or looked down. He couldn't see the punches. Michael Venom Page was so fat, Rickle was getting, he couldn't see it coming. He just goes, look, you stop, just stop. He made the right call. He took about 30 punches more than most people would have done before he did that. But there is something to speed, guys, that is intimidating. When you're dealing with a striker who's superior, who, by the way, is meaningfully faster. And I think that's really what you're going to see here. I don't think that Izzy is far and away a better fighter than Jared Cannonier. I think Jared Cannonier is awesome. I really do. I think Jared Cannonier is the #1 contender in the world. I think if Izzy Adesanya falls down and hurts his leg, Jared Cannonier is the greatest fighter in the world. I really think that. There's not the discrepancy that you believe. Not with the all-around and with the unified rules. There's not. But there is athletically a meaningful speed difference, which when you're wrestling doesn't play out the same way. Because you got a hold of a guy. You can feel him. You can slow him down. When you're striking, it's a problem. And it hurts quickly. And I'm telling you, Adesanya, for sure, not a maybe. If you can go find a line on it, go put your money on it. Tell him Chael sent you. Adesanya for sure will win the first round. He for sure will win the second round. 3, 4, and 5 can get very strange when you're talking about a main event.